FCE Podcast, but first of all, what a week we've had.
Mate, unbelievable. It's been a cracking week. We had Davey Russell on the pod, alongside Crossy, the two Irishmen. We couldn't keep them quiet, could we?
It was a four-way podcast, but we weren't really needed, where we were just outside looking in while they chatted away.
We did, mate. But we did get to ask him about Ayala, which was a big one for us at Cheltenham this year. Very profitable day for the pair of us, and he rode to victory.
We had a great day there, didn't we?
We did, mate. And we got to ask him a bit about Tiger Roll and what would have been if he'd have managed to get there and ride what would have been his record-equaling Grand National victory. We've got a great one this week as well.
So different this week. It's such a different slant on what we normally do. So we've got Ben Clarke and Pat Lewis. Ben Clarke, world Footgolf champion, European champion, UK champion. He's done the lot.
He has, mate. How did you get there?
How do you get there? And what I'm excited about is Footgolf is not a sport we massively follow. It's quite an up-and-coming sport. We're big football fans. I'm a massive hacker on a golf course and enjoy that every now and then.
You are a hacker. You are a massive hacker. I always nick your money on the golf course.
Always nicking my money on the golf course. But I enjoy it. So I want to see, did he start off as a footballer? Did he start off as a golfer? How did he progress into Footgolf? And it's going to be interesting to see in 10 years' time where Footgolf is as a sport, broadcasting-wise, and how Ben's pushing that journey. Yeah,
and we've got Pat on as well, who's a big friend of ours and a partner of FCE with Source One Associates. And I think he's got some grand plans for Footgolf, hasn't he? And it'd be interesting.
He has. They represent Ben, so obviously he's really keen to progress the sport. But Pat's a great business guy, and he's got plans for. He's going to be the Eddie Hearn of Footgolf.
We'll ask him about that as well. Let's get him on, shall we?
Let's get him on and see what we've got to say.
Brilliant, mate.
Thank you guys for joining. It's great to have you here, Ben and Pat. We're going to give this podcast malarkey a try with you two and see how it goes. We've got Jack with us from FC also. Ben, I just want to kick off by going straight into how did you get into Footgolf? For me, as a football player, ex-football player, and a golf hacker, what was your route into Footgolf?
It was by complete accident, really. Someone followed me on Twitter. I had no idea who he was, and he just said, "Have you tried Footgolf?" I'd literally never heard of it, no idea. I probably ignored the message for a few days just because I was like, it doesn't sound right. So I left it a few days, but it was playing on my mind a little bit, just thinking it obviously sounds like football and golf, which does sound quite fun, and I think the idea of it sounding fun got me to reply. A few days later, I just replied to the guy and said, never heard of it. Just tell me a little bit more about it, and I'll see if it sounds good, and I might go and play it. So I explained it a little bit. Just sounded. It sounds great, and it is great. A couple of weeks later, I went to the nearest course to play it, and just shanked my first shot into a tree and fell in love with it.
So just on that, so you are the world #1 foot golfer because of a Twitter stalker?
Yeah, pretty much.
Amazing. Where's
how all good stories start.
The Twitter name used to have GK in it, because I used to play in golf. So he had this idea that all goalkeepers would be good at foot golf because you can take a goal kick and supposedly you can kick it quite far. So his Twitter search somehow was goalkeepers or GK, and that's how he came across me.
That is incredible.
Yeah,
it's
brilliant. A complete accident. It's happened, but I'm not complaining.
So you're a goalkeeper. What level did you play?
Not great. So not quite sure what step it would have been, but it was Saturday's 3 o'clock kickoff, midweek as well under the floodlights. So it was an all right. It was an all right standard. Nothing to really shout about, but yeah, it was good enough standard and competitive as well. So.
Can I ask a question, Ben? You must have played against Casillas, because obviously has he got he must have your shirt somewhere.
Must be somewhere. I don't know where he's put my shirt, but I've still got his shirt sitting nicely on.
Brilliant.
Pat, I want to ask, you obviously look after Ben, and a lot of football agents normally complain about their footballers they look after. They're normally big divas. What is Ben like to look after?
He's top man, absolutely top man. It's weird actually, because that story that Ben just told you, I I'm an Ipswich Town fan, as you probably all know, big one. And yes, and Ben's partner, Lou, is a big Ipswich Town fan as well. So we followed each other on Twitter, and a couple of times she said to me, look, Ben, Footgolf, and I thought, okay, yeah, whatever. And then when I started the agency up, it was, do you know what, this could work here. So, just again, through weird connections on Twitter, I contacted Lou and Ben, and we met up. And that's how it sort of really happened, wasn't it, Ben? And it's a strange one, but yeah, and Ben is just an absolute nice guy, normal, nice guy.
That's great to hear. So Ben, from this first tweet to you becoming a professional, how long did that take?
So it probably took me 2 weeks to play my first round. Went with a couple of mates. They were awful. They don't even play anymore. I think that first round put them off. And then maybe 2 months later, I played in my first tournament. Just fell in love with it completely. And then a couple of months later, then played in like an international tournament, which was in England, where players from all over Europe would come along and play. And it just the vibe of the whole experience and the tournament, it just felt like something different and something special. So probably 2014 was the first year that I played and just kind of sussing it out. And then the next year, 2015, I then made my first trip abroad, was to Slovakia. And that course was a joke. I've never played anything like it. It was so difficult. I was finished the first round thinking, "God, this isn't for me. If this is what it's like playing abroad, then this is so difficult." But all the players are like reassured me, like, "Yeah, not all courses are like this. Don't worry." But yeah, even just going there and not playing so well, but just the whole experience of seeing all these players travel from around the world to play, it was just something I could really get used to and enjoy, and it beats getting changed in the car park playing Sunday League as well. So
I've been there.
Absolutely, yeah, we've been there. One thing you just said there about what obviously makes a difficult foot golf course, and obviously we all play a bit of golf, and as Cal said, he hacks it around the course more than most. But one thing I was going to say is we take our golf bags. When we go and play a tough course, we fill our golf bags with balls. Do you take spare footballs around with you? How does that work? If you shank one into the water?
Usually I just take one. I'll take 2 round with me in practice, but
okay.
Yeah, it's usually just one. If it goes in the water, they'll probably put like little dinghy boats on the side where we'll have to go in and get it ourselves, or they'll employ people to just go in and get it. In Mexico, they have people on the side. They got alligators in there. They just went straight in. Like, they didn't care about the alligators. They're like, "Yeah, we'll just get the player's ball for you, no worries."
Yeah,
which was just crazy. But yeah, usually we'll find a way of getting the ball back, whether it's climbing a tree or getting our kit off and just jumping in the lake. We'll get it back. It costs so much money. We can't just let them go like a golf ball.
No,
Actually, stupid phrase, but tell them about your balls, Ben. About you and your balls. And what you know.
I'm all ears.
This is escalated.
But the balls we use are from the 2010 World Cup, the Jabulani.
Oh, wow.
One of the best balls of all time, that is.
Were horrendous for football, but for foot golf, they're just made out of, I don't know whether they're more plasticky, they're rounder than the average ball. They just seem to go forever and roll on for much longer than your average football. So, yeah, but obviously because they're not being made anymore, we're probably looking at about minimum £250 per ball to play.
Oh,
wow.
To buy. So that's why we're jumping into lakes with alligators to get them back.
I'm not surprised, yeah.
They're a lot of money.
Or your clubs can put together, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and they're no good to me either.
Ben, you touched on it earlier around the fact that you've got players coming from all over the world. There's some ex-pros that are foot golfers now, right?
Yeah, there's a few. Probably one of the biggest names is Ayala from Argentina.
That's it, yeah.
Over 170 odd caps, I think, for the national side. So he's a very good player as well, really good player, and a nice guy. You would never know that he's been as successful as he has in football when you meet him. He's just a nice, humble guy.
I thought you were going to say you'd never know he's Argentinian.
And what I love is you say he's had way over 100 appearances for Argentina, and you're absolutely bossing him on the foot golf course. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's great. We've had so many players. We've had Di Canio as well that's played.
Really?
Man, what a player. So what have you got that these top footballers haven't? What sets you apart?
Good agent.
Yeah, like 20, 30 years on them probably helps. I don't know. I think if they dedicate the time that I have to the sport, then they would obviously pick it up as they go along a lot better. But there's footballers can be quite arrogant at times, and they probably think, well, I can kick a ball around in front of 90,000 people. This should be an absolute doddle kicking it into a big hole. But but yeah, I think give them time, they'll be competing. Ayala's been playing for 3-4 years now, and he's a real top player. He came third at the World Cup last year, so I mean he is quality. He can beat anyone on his day, so he's certainly one to look out for.
So you mentioned there about they're a bit arrogant, and they probably don't put the time in that you do. What does training look like for you?
It's just going to a course and playing. Obviously, like golf, you can just stand on the driving range. You've got a pile of 100 balls next to you. Obviously, a football's massively much bigger than a golf ball, so you can't really just keep a bag of balls next to you, and you can't go to the driving range and just get a bucket out of the machine that spits 30 balls at you. It's pretty much just go to a course, play a couple of rounds, and then just head back. Really, it's just that. Just each course gives you a different challenge, and that's your training really.
I think you've got, if you get a chance, when I went round with you, it was the European Championships last year, wasn't it, Ben? I think
yes, at Magnolia Park, yeah.
That's it. I went round with Ben on the whole round in his group, and it is an art. I mean, like we all think we can go and pick a golf club up and hit a golf ball 200 yards and it's easy. It is an absolute art, and you see him play, and you see all these other lads play. When I've seen Ben, and it was a windy day as well, wasn't it, Ben? It was really, really windy and cloudy.
Yeah, really windy.
And it was like, I've seen him from probably put a ball in from spot here, probably 40, 50 yards, and he'll just right foot, bang, gently bend it, and I've seen it put straight in the hole. And it's like, how the hell does he do that? Unbelievable. And so we all think we can do it, and it's such an art, it really is. And it's, as you say, it's one of those things, he's obviously got talent for it, because he's #1 in the world. But it is, I mean, as I say, I've got to go out on a course with you, I'd love to do when we can. But it's, I was pretty half-standard footballer, and I think I can, knock the ball back, right foot, left foot, whatever. But I can't wait to do that. But it's such an art, really is.
Well, I'm putting this in for a
down, I thought it was a bad idea. I think I was 2 down to the Hungarian guy after 3 holes, and I was like, oh God, what's Pat going to be thinking here? He's going to be going home soon. But thankfully, I turned it around.
Good man.
And you see these guys putt, and everybody's got like a different putting style. I mean, some like your side foot, aren't you, Ben? Your real side foot, where some guys have their foot basically like a pendulum like that and toe poke it. It is really like,
Yeah.
That must be frowned upon, surely, Ben. A big toe poke was always, when I was a footballer.
Yeah, it should be criminal, really. But it works for people, and some people swear by it. But whatever works for you. But I used to be a coach as well, and just the word toe punt or toe poke to people, it just made me cringe a little bit. But it's a successful putting technique, so I'll leave them to it.
Do you ever showboat and give it a cheeky back heel to finish off a hole?
No.
Too much up for stake here, Cal. He's playing Roberto Ayala, for God's sake.
Good point.
I'm a goalkeeper. I've not got that in the locker.
So I definitely want a 4-ball. We've got to have a 4-ball out.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I'm going to win some of my golf money back off Jack.
No chance.
So I think you'll both agree that foot golf's, it's an up-and-coming sport. You've obviously got it nailed on the ability-wise. Where do you see foot golf in the next 2, 5, 10 years? And that's a question to both of you guys, Pat and Ben, just to see where you see it going.
I mean, I think it can go as far as we want it to go. It has all the ingredients for it to be televised, and maybe in the Olympic Games or whatever other competitions or there are. And it's the perfect sort of afterlife for footballers as well. When they can't quite run around or they've had to retire from injury, it's keeps them kicking the ball and in that competitive environment as well. So I think with that, footballers dropping out into foot golf, that would just speed up the growth of foot golf enormously as well. But yeah, I think it can go as far as we want it to go, and obviously we want it to be at Olympic level. But yeah, it can be anything it wants to be.
If going back to a bit more of the playing side of it, one professional footballer that's playing now, who do you think that you look at think could be an unbelievable foot golfer?
I always get asked this question and I can never answer it. The obvious answer is someone like Messi, but he's more ball at his feet sort of person. You need someone that can just spray it left, right, centre.
Glenn Hoddle.
Scholesy would be quality, wouldn't he? Surely.
Yeah, someone like Scholesy, just maybe a centre midfielder that can just ping it anywhere he wants.
Yeah, a Xabi Alonso, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
love to see him play.
It'd be so good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking is, I think foot golf is a real watchable sport. So when do you guys think you start to see it on the TV and the broadcasters start to pick up? Because, like I say, for me, it's perfect watchable. Do you see that as 1-2 years time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I watch quite a lot of golf as well, and it's impossible to keep your eye on the ball. Like when they hit a tee shot and they don't have the tracker with it, I'm looking all over the screen looking for a little white ball. And even when they're on the greens as well, you can't even see the hole when the camera gets down on that floor level. You're just waiting for the ball to just disappear, assuming it goes in the hole. So I think from that sort of perspective as well, it's easier to watch. It doesn't take as long as golf either. You probably on average you get 2 foot golf holes per 1 golf hole.
Okay.
So it flows a lot quicker. It probably takes half the time as a round of golf. Golf takes what, 4 or 5 hours a round maybe. We can probably play that in holes in some longer than others. We can probably play foot golf in about 2 hours, maybe just under. So it's a lot quicker.
So what we do at the end of every podcast is we ask you the killer question, which is obviously we're FCE, we put on bespoke hospitality. We make sure that the client has to think of nothing when they go to any event, whether it's a sporting event, a music event. Ben, if you could go to any event in the world, no expense spared, what could FCE do for you?
Where's the furthest place possible? Maybe Australia. I haven't been to Australia yet. That would be a nice experience. I've seen a few events. They've just got kangaroos just going around the course. It just looks brilliant. So it'd be quite nice to just be playing a hole and all of a sudden see a kangaroo come along the fairway. I've been to Japan a couple of times. That's a really nice experience. But I'd probably say Australia, probably logistically as well. It's quite hard to organise, and I'm absolutely useless at booking flights and stuff. So
we can do that for you.
Take the pressure off me to Australia. Yeah, job's yours.
What about you, Pat? Any sporting event in the world? Where could we take you? We've taken you to a few before. So where would you like to go now?
I think next on my list, if it ever happens again, which hopefully it will, probably the Monaco Grand Prix actually. Oh, but on a boat, it's on the marina. Yeah. Shorts, shirt, loafers on, gin and tonic in hand, just watching the cars go by. That's the next thing for me. I think that's next on the list.
So Monaco, Australia, another expensive episode, Jack. But
we've got to stop doing these pods, mate.
Ben, that was perfect, spot on. Thank you so much for that. I really, really enjoyed that conversation. Actually,
yeah, it's brilliant. Cheers, Ben.